Hi everybody, Anita from KetogenicWoman.com here. Today, we are going to have a little bit of fun. When I was laying in bed this morning, I found myself wondering if I could make noodles just out of beef powder, rather than cooking beef. So I'm going to give that a try today. In fact, I'm going to make 3 different noodles, all using powder. Could be a complete waste of ingredients. I have no idea, but it has been playing on my mind. So, in fact, I'm going to call this episode Will It Noodle? So before we get too far into Will It Noodle, today's episode, I just want to let you know I'm going to put some links down below. I'm going to link to Keto Asian Flavors. That is where the the noodling thing came from. At least that's how I was aware of it a few months ago. So I'll link that below. I studied her technique as best I could to get those spirals in there correctly, because my first one, if you saw it, was a bit of a flop. So I went back and I watched that video. I'm going to put that video below so you can study it too if you're having trouble forming nice noodles. And then I'm also going to link the sweet noodle recipe from Healthy Ambitions, because that inspired one of the creations I'm going to try to make today. So so check down below for video notes as well as chapter contents, so that way you can skip to wherever you need to in the video. Okay, so we're going to get started just shortly. So what I've got here is I have my 2 little jars of the salt, sodium alginate. This is the thickener. It's made from seaweed, I think, or kelp. I can't remember which one, but it comes from one of those. And calcium chloride. I'm not really loving the calcium chloride. I find it a bit harsh tasting. It's hard to get the noodles rinsed really well. So I have ordered some calcium lactate, because I hear that is milder. And I've also ordered some more of this. So I have more ingredients coming. So I thought, well, let's just use these for some experimenting. So what the noodles I'm going to make, I'm going to just try some with this beef bone broth powder. I'm just taking a stab here. I no idea if it's going to work. And then I thought, well, while I'm at it, a very kind person sent me Keto Chow. And I have quite a few savory flavors, so I'm going to try and make one with the beef base and see how that goes. And then lastly, this is a real shot in the dark. Where did that go? So I was watching. I've been watching other noodle makers just to try to get some ideas and learn, tips and tricks. And Kathy over at Healthy Ambitions has spurred me on to try something that I had no idea I even needed to try, and that was chocolate noodles. I'm going to try it with Keto Chow. Yeah, isn't that weird? I'm going to try it with Keto Chow and see what happens. I'm going to let Teddi say hi, and then we'll get started. Come here, you. Come here, you. See? There's no bacon up here. No bacon at all. Okay? You gonna go? All right. Okay, there's Teddi. So I'm going to position the camera to show what I'm doing, see if I can get him interested in some toys or something, and we'll be right back. Okay, I've got everything set up here, ready to go. I'm gonna do, the first one will be the Keto Chow beef noodles. So I've got 3 cups of warm water. Whoa. Okay, that was elegant. I have 3 cups minus maybe a couple of tablespoons. I need a towel. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're off to a wonderful start. So I'm going to put my Keto Chow in there, and I'm basically going to follow Anne's recipe, Keto Asian flavors. She seems to use 3 cups of liquid for everything. I'm just hoping that it'll all work. She also uses half a teaspoon xanthan powder or xanthan gum. There is xanthan gum in here. So I'm just gonna go with it though. So that would be 1 packet Keto Chow or 1 scoop if you've got the big bag. And then a half a cup of, or sorry, a half a teaspoon, not half a cup. Just gonna blend it on manual. So that's blended. I'm going to slowly, although I don't know if it matters if you do it all at once or what. I still haven't quite figured that out, and I'm hoping I have enough for everything. I'm gonna do 1 heaping tablespoon of the sodium alginate in here, and I'm going to, I guess I'll put some of it in. See if I can blend this on low. Let's see what we got here. Well, it's pretty thick. I was worried I wouldn't have enough of the sodium alginate because that's all I have is what's in that little jar. And I know that a lot of people use 2 tablespoons, but I've been using 1, and that seemed like a heaping tablespoon. That seems to work. Okay. So I am going to let that sit while I mix up my calcium chloride solution to form the noodle. I'm just going to grab 7 cups of water. Okay, I've got my 7 cups of water. The other thing that I didn't mention yet is that I'm going to use the same calcium chloride bath for all the batches of noodles that I make today. And that is because I heard that, I think it also was on Kathy's channel, Healthy Ambitions. I'm going to link her noodles below and her chocolate noodles too, in case you want to try it the way she made it. It'll be interesting to see if this turns out. A calcium chloride. Let's mix that in. Basically, you just stir this until the water's clear, and then we know it's ready. It's all dissolved. Oh, while I'm stirring, I was at the supermarket today, and the Woman's World magazine is out, and they have the article about, they've called it Candy Keto, chocolate treats that burn 600% more belly fat. Okay, yes, the hot cocoa bomb that scored 21 million internet views, dropped 20, I mean, their headlines, you know. Anyways, they mentioned me in here. I got my 1-line mention. It's on page 22. So I only have 1 line, but it is in the first paragraph with the bold. So if people have low attention span, hopefully they'll see my name before they get to all the other stuff. So I mean, basically the article, I mean, that headline, I don't understand it, but the article just, gives different keto treats from different websites around the internet. And here's my big moment. Women indulging in goodies agree reporting losses of up to 12 pounds a week. I didn't say that. That's not mine. But here's my part. Even options that are easy to make are so delicious adds 135 pounds slimmer Anita Bree, 62. I'm actually 63, but that's okay. British Columbia grandmother and blogger on KetogenicWoman.com. And here's my big moment. They'll knock your Christmas stockings off. Anyways, that's what they gave me. That's okay. Oh, and look, it is clear and dissolved. So it's just kind of fun to get a mention in a national magazine. I know that that is actually how some people found me a couple of years ago. They did an article in there about the egg fast, and I have written an ebook about the egg fast. And so they found me when they wrote that article and quoted me in there and, you know, all that other stuff. So I know a lot of you found me back then. Anyways, here we are. No egg fast. We're doing noodles. So let's see. And oh, I'm not really that concerned about bubbles and things like that today. What I am going to do is just pop the ones that are on the top here, because there's a couple sitting at the top, couple big ones, and I'm not really going to worry about it because I'm not quite sure why it matters. Maybe I'll find out. Where's my thing? Okay, so my next job is to get this mixture into here. I just use the glass to steady this thing so I don't tip it over while I'm trying to get the noodle mixture in. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, we're getting noodles. All right. Okay, I have great hopes for the rest of this experiment now. Now, the other question will be, you know, how will they be? Will they set? I guess, I think they will. Okay, I think I need to fill this up again. Okay. They're a little gummy. Now, I wonder, now, today I didn't let the mixture set in the fridge. I just wanted to try it, and so maybe that part is important. So I'm going to pour the rest of this mixture into a bowl, and I'm going to put it in the fridge and see if that actually, I mean, we definitely have formed noodles. I'm a little bit worried that they're not going to hold up. I see that this mixture is very porous, I think is the word. And this might be, rather than worrying about those bubbles on the top, which I don't think that was the point in letting, I mean, this is just a theory. I'm just theorizing as I'm looking at this mixture. I think the point was to let it sit, and all these tiny little bubbles that make this mixture porous will hopefully rise to the top. I think that's what my problem is. Or the whole thing, it just doesn't work with a package of Keto Chow. I don't know. I'd like to think it could. So I'm just gonna get a small bowl. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean my blender and get it ready for the next experiment. And I'm going to put this noodle mixture into the fridge and carry on with this part of the experiment later. We'll try another batch of these. Like once this has sat, I'll try to do the noodle part again. And in the meantime, I'm going to get this out of here and get the next batch ready to go, which is just going to be plain bone broth all on its own. So I'll see you back here in 10 minutes or so. I'm back. My noodle mixture, the first batch, is in the fridge. Hopefully some of those bubbles are leaving. The mixture is what I would call foamy. And I think those are the bubbles that are important to this whole endeavor. The other noodles, they held together when I took them out of the calcium bath, and they are sitting in another bowl in the fridge because I wanted to have room to make these noodles. I have my 3 cups of water in there, and I am going to put in 2 scoops of this protein powder. This is it's actually bone broth powder. And it is the Now brand. I mean, you can get this pretty much anywhere. So I don't know. I have no scientific reason for choosing the 2 scoops. I'm just thinking that seems about right. And I guess we'll find out if that works or not. I'm also going to use a half a teaspoon. Actually, I'm going to go with a whole teaspoon because there's no xanthan gum in there, whereas there was some in the Keto Chow. So I'm going to put a whole teaspoon of xanthan gum in here.
So let's get this one blended.
Okay, that is pretty thick as well. And I haven't even added the sodium alginate yet. Let's do that. I just wanted to check on it. So again, I'm going to use a tablespoon. Oh, I'm really running low. Really hoping I have 1 tablespoon left
in here.
Because I want to try those chocolate ones. Just putting it all in there. Okay, I'm just going to check on it. I might actually blend it for another minute, but I just want to see how it looks compared to the other one. So it also looks foamy, but actually underneath this layer of bubbliness at the top, it looks more pudding-like than the other one. So now I'm not really sure, but I'm going to blend it for maybe even just another 30 seconds. Oh, wow. That looks smooth as silk. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, that's way more what it should look like. It's like a smooth custard or a pudding, not this foamy thing. So I feel like these are going to extrude into there properly, but I'm just going to run and quickly check my other ones here. These are still very bubbly and foamy, and maybe the only way I'm going to get those out is if I put it through a sieve before putting it in here. That's going to be fun. But anyways, I'm going to put these back. This looks amazing. I'm pouring it directly in. I'm going to give it a try. It's very thick.
This should be fun.
Okay, really. I am making a mess. But will it noodle? That's going to be the big question. I mean, it is a smooth mixture with no bubbles, but that does not necessarily mean it's going to go in properly like the noodles. But in the meantime, you guys can at least see if the plain protein powder will make a noodle. Wouldn't that be cool if it did? Okay, so I have my same calcium bath here. I fished those other noodles out. I'm going to just get the stirring going.
Whoa. Hope you didn't see that.
This is how thick it is. So let's have a look here. Well, they're definitely working. I just want to see the texture. Yeah, the texture looks way better. It's not all foamy like the other one was. This looks really promising. All right, so we're just about done here. Just want to get the rest of this out. All right, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute and then come back and see how the texture is compared to those ones I just put in the fridge. Okay, so just going to give me a couple minutes here. Okay, I'm back. So what I ended up doing is the only way I could actually get the mixture in was to spoon it in. So, but I have a beautiful bowl of noodles here. Look at these. This is from just plain protein powder, and they seem firm and stretchy. I put some of the calcium chloride solution in here. I'm going to put these in the fridge while we make the next batch. The first batch I made still doesn't look smooth enough for me to extrude into the solution, but I have an idea about it, and I'm going to test that idea because the next one is also Keto Chow. It's also milk protein isolate, which I believe powdered beef protein, powdered beef bone broth. Okay, well, this should be interesting. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got my 3 cups of warm water in here. I've got my xanthan gum ready to go. I'm just gonna get to it and put my Keto Chow in. Now, when Kathy made her chocolate noodles, she said it could have used a little more sweetness and flavor. So actually, I'm just going to grab some chocolate stevia drops that I have. May as well throw those in. Couldn't find the chocolate ones, but I have English toffee. So I'm gonna put in about 10 drops, and xanthan gum, half a teaspoon. Okay, I'm just gonna check. So I'm gonna blend this a little longer. I think that might be an issue. Like, that might be the issue that I had with the first one. So I'm gonna put it on another blend cycle, and we're gonna see what that mixture looks like. Oh, and I have to add my sodium alginate. I mean, because that's the thing I did different on the second batch, was I did an extra blending. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have just enough here. Oh, it was like barely a tablespoon. It's enough. Put my spout on this time. Wow, that was really working hard. Okay, so this looks like the last batch. It's really thick. It's the consistency of custard or pudding. So I'm gonna let it sit for a moment while I decide what I'm going to do with the other one, because it's still quite warm, and I think it's because the blender was working so hard, and I'm not quite sure if it almost feels like it might be too warm for me to put in the solution. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and then I'll come right back. We'll finish up these noodles, and then we'll look at what has happened here. I feel like I've learned a lot by doing these 3 noodles. Like, I'm just kind of blown away and kind of excited. I'm really excited about these noodles because this could be interesting. Anyways, I'll be right back. I'm back. This is like a nice pudding-like custard. So I thought I would try to use the funnel. The last batch I had to actually spoon it in. It's really thick. I mean, look at that. So I don't know if maybe next time I should skip the xanthan gum. I'm trying to push it through with a chopstick now while I think here. So maybe I skip the xanthan gum, maybe that, or maybe less sodium alginate, but I kind of thought it needed to be at least a tablespoon for that chemical reaction to take place, the molecular gastronomy. I'm not really sure. Would love to hear ideas from you guys as to what you think. I mean, should it be this thick? It's like, it's pudding. And I obviously need a better way to funnel it in here. Hoping this is faster than when I spooned it in. If all else fails, I've got some chocolate pudding. Because I'm really excited to see if this noodles. Once I have this thing filled up, I'll be right back. I have managed to fill a bottle, and I'm going to put it in the calcium bath now. Now remember, this is the 3rd time I've used this. This is the 3rd batch. I mean, the first batch was only a partial batch. So I'm shaking this down so that there's no big air pockets. I'm just hoping that this, yeah, so you can see, probably see there's like a big air gap there. well, I'm going to do what I can here. Can you see the noodles are forming? Oh my goodness. Who knew that they needed chocolate noodles in their life? I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. But someday, chocolate noodles are going to be all the rage. And I'm going to be able to say, oh yeah, been there, done that, I tried it.
Well, they're feeling pretty good.
Okay, so I am going to turn the camera off, get the rest of my solution in here, extrude the rest of them, and then we're going to come back with everything. I'm going to see how, if the bubbles have dissipated. Unfortunately, I am right out of the sodium alginate now, so I am just dying to retry the beef Keto Chow. I think the secret is to blend it longer than I did. I think I did not blend it long enough with the sodium alginate, because this is completely different. This Keto Chow, chocolate Keto Chow, seems to be working just fine. So I'm going to see you guys back here in the next segment. Okay, so I'm back with all my noodles. So easily the first one is a fail. That's the one where I did the beef Keto Chow noodles. However, I don't think it's the Keto Chow. I think it's me, because these chocolate noodles were Keto Chow. I want to try these again now that I have learned so much from doing this. So what I think I did wrong, I didn't blend it long enough with the sodium alginate, because these other two, I blended it twice as much and they seem to work. So if you look at these first noodles, there's no salvaging them. I don't even know if I can show you, but they're really foamy, and if I press on them, they just flatten and turn to mush. So throwing that away, this has been in the fridge. This is the rest of the noodle stuff. It's foamy, still full of bubbles. It didn't turn to custard like these other two did. And this is the one where I only blended it for a minute. I should have blended it for 2 minutes. And unfortunately, I can't test it now until I get my next, shipment of supplies. So I am just dying to try it. I have lots of Keto Chow savory flavors that I can try, because that would be kind of exciting if that worked. But the good news is that the beef bone broth seems to have worked. Here's those noodles. They look really good. They look like the other ones that I made the other day. They are springy. And when I press on them, they don't cave in like these ones. And then we've got the chocolate noodles, which are, I just finished these, but they're about the same consistency. When I press on them, they're firm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both these noodles. I'm just going to rinse off a small amount, because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with these. I think tomorrow I'll try to come up with something. I mean, you watch, in a couple of years, there's going to be a MasterChef episode where somebody comes up with some real cool dessert using chocolate noodles. And, you know, I think it could be a trend. I think it could be a dessert trend. So I'd love to come up with an idea of using those. So I'll be right back and we'll give it a taste test. Hi, I'm back. Okay, I've rinsed these noodles off really well. I just wanted to have a small amount just to taste. I'm tasting it without sauce or salt or cheese or anything else, because I wanted to get kind of a true taste. So they have zero flavor, but the consistency is kind of like spaghetti. We're not going to get to that perfect spaghetti consistency, but it's, so close. I mean, yeah. But just think of the possibilities here. I mean, there's 28 grams of protein in one scoop of this powder. And so this was basically beef broth powder, water, and the little bit of sodium alginate, which is 0 net carbs. It has carbs, for those that count total carbs, has an equal amount of carbs to fiber. For those that count net carbs, this is 0 carbs. But you know, I guess if you are using 1 tablespoon and you're getting 3 or 4 servings of noodles, it's not too bad. You know, if you're counting total carbs, then sure, count a couple of carbs, but it's so worth it to have a couple of carbs if you get like a cup of noodles, which I'm pretty sure you'll get at least a cup of noodles to a serving. So I'm gonna rinse some more of these off and have them in my soup later that I'm making. So that's that. Chocolate noodles now. Okay, I'm a little nervous, but also excited. That tastes sweet. I did add a few drops of the stevia English toffee, and it's a packet, 1 pack of Keto Chow. It's good. I hate to say it, but it's good. I gotta come up with some kind of dessert that uses noodles. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but I bet it could be a thing. I think it could be a thing. Kathy, it could be a thing. We should work on it. Yeah. Anyways, I really feel like I learned a lot. I hope you guys learned something too. I've got to write down my notes of what I learned, and you gotta blend enough. The bubbles on top don't matter. You don't have to sit the solution in the fridge for an hour. For these 2, I used them right away. To me, they looked like custard pudding. There was no bubbles. I just used them right away. The other one was a fail because I didn't blend it enough. That's my belief. And once I get more sodium alginate, I'm gonna try it as soon as possible. So I'm really happy with, I'm glad that I did this because of how much I learned. I need a new funnel. I've learned that. One with a wider spout at the bottom. Yeah, so many things. So anyways, I'm gonna go now and make my dinner, put some of these noodles in. I will definitely report back. Maybe by the time this video is edited, I will be able to say in the notes, you should always check my notes at the bottom. I have valuable information down there sometimes. I will put in my notes how they held up in my soup. So I will see you guys next time. So thanks so much for watching and doing these science experiments. Will they noodle? Yes. Keto Chow will noodle. Keto Chow chocolate. Bone broth powder will noodle. Now we just need to get some more supplies, which are on their way, and see what else we can noodle. See you next time.
I wanted to try some new, no. Cut. Woman here. No, I forgot the .com.